Alright, let's go. I want to start this video by talking about the differences between my deck and Chris's deck. So here's Chris's deck. This deck is very efficient. Grimbeorn the Old is going to get Strength and Courage, so he's going to become an absolute beast. And then it also has the Forfeit the Three Hunters contract, and most likely you are going to flip that contract on turn 1, turn 2 at the absolute latest. All of the attachments are restricted. Most of them can go on anybody. The cost curve is very friendly, and it's a dual sphere deck, so you're only dealing with 2 different spheres. Look at the cost curve. Cards cost 1 or 0, and then most of the attachments on side A are going to cost 0 or 0. So you're going to be able to get all the attachments in play, flip the contract, and get that big boost. So if you want to play a deck that showcases the power of Forfeit the Three Hunters, play Chris's. Okay, here is my deck. So Chris's is super efficient. Mine, I sacrifice efficiency for what the restricted attachments can do. It's a tri-sphere deck. They are more expensive, and basically I have a gimmick of the deck, which is kind of typical of how I build. So the gimmick of this deck is you're going to load up your heroes with these restricted attachments, and then hopefully you get to use them in the combat phase. So Grimbeorn the Old, of course, is in the deck with the Strength and Courage, and then Aragorn can spend a resource to ready himself. Glorfindel with Light of Valinor will also be ready. So you're going to go into combat with all 3 heroes ready, and they can use their restricted attachments, and so they can help with combat. And that is good for multiplayer, too, because Aragorn and Grimbeorn are both Sentinel. So you can hopefully have 2 ready Sentinel characters in combat. And so, like I said, my deck is not the same as Chris's in that his is his playstyle, which is efficiency. Like Legacy Blade there, all that does is it goes on Thurindir or Eowyn, and it gives them +1 willpower. Where my deck, the restricted attachments, they're going to get used most likely in the combat phase. And that makes my deck less efficient because I can't put as many restricted attachments in my deck. I'm trying to do some other things. And I think that's good. Like, I like it that this game allows you to build a deck like Chris's that focuses on efficiency, and he's going to win with his deck. You play his deck, you're going to win. And then my deck, not as efficient. You're still going to win. Probably a higher chance of losing in the earlier turns, but I'm okay with that. That's more my play style. I like to take a little more risks, put lots of different cards in my deck, and just see what kind of stuff I can pull off. So I don't think either deck is better because they both approach the game from different directions in a way. So I hope you guys enjoy this. This is going to be my Grimbeorn Strength and Courage deck versus Nightmare Intruders in Chetwood. I go through the same setup as I did when I played Chris's deck. You can jump ahead to the 7-minute mark to get to the new content. So this is Nightmare Intruders in Chetwood. It's a good quest to use against a strong deck like the Grimbeorn Strength and Courage because you have some beefy enemies you have to take care of right off the bat. As you can see, when you're playing Nightmare mode, there is no effect that triggers or anything. It's just straight up, you're just playing Nightmare mode. So what we're going to do is shuffle in the Nightmare deck after removing the cards you see here. So I've already done that. I removed all those cards. I've shuffled in the Nightmare deck. All right, stop the war party. Set up, put Iarion in play, sounds like Aaron. Add 1 Orc War Party to the staging area, then each player adds 1 different location to the staging area. Shuffle the encounter deck. Iarion is an XXX, where X is the number of quest cards in play. The first player controls him, and then after a side quest is revealed from the encounter deck, ready him. If he leaves play, we lose the game. Orc War Party, pretty nasty. 3 threat, 6 attack, 3 defense, 6 hit point. He's an orc. He can't have attachments. While he's in the staging area, enemies in the staging area cannot take damage. And then the players cannot win the game while Orc War Party is in play. Greenway Path is the location I chose. It's a 3-threat, 5 progress location. It's got the Arnor trait. And then Forced, at the end of the round, if Greenway Path is still in the staging area, search the encounter deck discard pile and victory display for Shadow the War Party and reveal it. I don't know what that is because I haven't played this Nightmare version before, but my hope is that I can just travel here during the first travel phase of the game, and hopefully I don't reveal a second one of these. So that's my plan. This quest only has one quest card, so side 1B, it's 30 quest points. And it says enemies do not make engagement checks, so that means you only can optionally engage one enemy per round, unless you have Halberad hero. He lets you engage a second one. So your enemies can build up in the staging area. Forced, at the end of the refresh phase, raise each player's threat by 1 for each enemy in the staging area. So threat can be an issue with this quest, definitely. And then the players cannot defeat the stage unless the first player controls Iarian, and then if the players defeat the stage, they win the game. So you got to get 30 progress on this quest stage, and you got to make sure there's no Orc war parties in play in order to win. And you can't let Iarian die. Alright, let's take a look at my deck. I have Grimbeorn, he's 11 threat, he attacks for 3, defends for 3, 5 hit points. Beorning, Warrior, Sentinel. Response, after Grimbeorn the Old defends an enemy attack, spend 1 resource from his pool to declare him as an attacker against that enemy, and resolve the attack. The defending enemy gets -2 defense for the attack. Alright, we got the 1 ring, it's going to go on Grimbeorn. It's an artifact ring, it's got the master trait, it's restricted, it's immune to non-master card effects, and then at setup you also get to search your deck for a master traded card and add it to your hand, and your threat elimination level is reduced by 5, and if this card leaves play, all players lose the game. So like I said during the deck comparison I did, this uses Core Set Aragorn. He can ready himself after committing to the quest by spending a resource, and he's Sentinel. And then it also includes Splorfindel, Spirit Glorfindel. He only has 5 threat, and then you have to raise your threat by 1 when you commit him to the quest. So those are my other 2 heroes along with Grimbeorn. Alright, so let's take a look at my opening hand here. Okay, Dagger Westernaise, that can go on anybody. Gondorian Shield, that can go on anybody. Gives a defense boost. Foehammer, some card draw. Open the Armory, some more card draw. Another Dagger Westernaise. And Steward of Gondor. So a lot of cards I'm pretty sure a lot of people are familiar with. Open the Armory lets you search the top 10 cards for a weapon or armor attachment. This is a really good hand because Grimbeorn already has 1 restricted attachment. I have 3 restricted attachments in hand, and then Open the Armory should find me another one, so I just need 1 more restricted attachment, and then I'll be able to flip the contract. So, per the 1 ring effect, I found Strength and Courage, and now I'm giving my deck a shuffle, giving everybody a resource. My starting threat is 28, a little higher than Chris's, and that was a heck of a draw. I mean, I was so happy to see that. So, Light of Valinor attached to a Noldor character, and that character does not exhaust a quest. So Glorfindel is now not exhausting to quests, which is great. I'll attach that Gondorian Shield to Grimbeorn, so he has +1 defense, and then each of my other 2 heroes are going to get a Dagger Westernaise, so they are each attacking for 5 now if the enemy has a higher engagement cost than mine. Which is really, really great because the Orc War Party does. And so if I keep Aragorn and Glorfindel up after committing to the quest, if they're ready during the combat phase, they can kill the Orc War Party. So I think that's going to be my plan here. I'm going to send both of them on the quest. Grimbeorn will defend. Aragorn will have readied himself. And then those 2 will kill the Orc War Party. It does kind of stink that I have to spend Aragorn's resource to ready him, but if I don't send him on the quest, I'm only sending 4 with Iarian, and there's already 6 threat in staging. So, like I said in the deck comparison thingy, questing at the beginning is a little tricky with this deck, especially because I didn't draw any of my attachments that boost willpower. That would have been nice, but I'm not complaining because that Light of Valinor draw was pretty huge. So there I go. I just committed Aragorn and I readied him back up. So I have sent 6 I forgot to throw an exhaustion token on Iarian. Okay, Outlying Homestead. It's only a 2 threat. It's 8 progress. Doomed 1. And I can't reduce my threat while it's in the staging area. Yuck. I make a mistake here where I only raise my threat from the doomed and not from underquesting by 2. It won't impact the game. Alright, but I need to travel to this place, because if I leave it in the staging area, I'm going to have to go find a side quest. The Outlying Homestead also makes you reveal an encounter card when you travel there, so it sucks. That's a sucky card. Alright, Grimbeorn's defending for 4 against 6. We get no shadow. Grimbeorn's going to take 2 damage. And then, like I said, my other guys are going to each attack for 5 and kill the Orc War Party. So I don't have to spend Grimbeorn's resource, which is really nice. And I can let him start building up some tactics resources to pay for some expensive tactics cards like Raiment of War or something. So pretty happy with that first turn. I should be able to survive another turn easily, and then the deck will really be online. I did kill the Orc War Party, so I'm raising my threat. Oh, okay, yeah, there I go. I forgot. I forgot I had a foe hammer in hand. So because I killed that enemy, I get to exhaust a weapon and draw 3 cards. Okay, so there I'm just saying my Elrond's Council, which lets me drop my threat. I can't do that as long as that Outlying Homestead's in staging. So I'm going to spend one of Grimbeorn's resources and give him Strength and Courage. So now he can attack for 9. Open the armory, search the top 10 cards for an armor or weapon attachment, so I will do that. I'll need to find another restricted attachment after this one. Kind of unlucky, I drew 4 cards and none of them were a restricted attachment. Alright, Silver Circlet, not an armor or weapon. I would have liked to have got it. But I do have Raiment of War, which is pretty awesome, and I also got Round Shield, which is also really cool. Raiment of War can go on a warrior character, so that can go on Glorfindel, and it boosts his attack even more, and he becomes a pretty decent defender because he can defend for 2, and he has 7 hit points, so he can take a pretty good attack if I have to. All right, so Raiment of War will cost 1, so I'm debating about playing it, and then Grimbeorn won't have a resource. I can't quite flip the contract yet, even if I do get it on Glorfindel, because Aragorn needs 1 more restricted attachment, and I do have that other Open the Armory, which could possibly find me a 0-cost restricted attachment, but then I'm waiting yet another turn not to get Steward of Gondor in. So I just decide not to play it, and I hopefully will flip the contract on turn 3. I'm only questing against 2, but I do commit Aragorn and do not ready him. And I reveal a 2-threat location. So that was the right call. I made a gamble there. I only make 2 progress out of the 5, and I have 2 locations in staging. One's not going to let me drop my threat, but I'm feeling pretty good that this turn I'm going to get moving and get my deck rolling. Okay, I draw another foe hammer. I have 2 leadership resources, so I can play Steward of Gondor. I'm going to put that on Aragorn. Now he'll always have a resource available to ready himself. I'm going to spend one of the 2 resources Steward got me back to look at the top 10 cards of Open the Armory and try to find a weapon or armor attachment that can go on Aragorn. And I found another raiment. That doesn't work, but I did find a Dagger of Westernaise and a Blade of Gondolin and a Shining Shield. Those all can go on Aragorn. Trying to decide what one I want, and since this quest all the enemies are orcs, Blade of Gondolin's pretty good because it gives me +1 attack, and then when he kills somebody, Blade of Gondolin places a progress. So I decide to choose Blade of Gondolin out of those choices, and then I'm going to spend 1 resource on Raiment of War, and Raiment of War gives +1 to your attack and defense, and then it gives you +2 hit points, and it counts as 2 restricted attachments. And since the contract lets everybody hold 3, Glorfindel now has 3 restricted attachments. Alright, I'm going to spend a resource to put Ancient Matham on the active location, so when that gets explored, I get to draw 3 cards. Aragorn's going to spend his resource to ready back up after committing to the quest. I'm still not questing for very much, That's why I need to get this contract online. It's 6 against 4, and I reveal a 2-threat enemy. So I quest even. I don't make any progress. But everybody's ready in combat, which is what I was saying is kind of the goal of this deck. Grimbeorn's going to defend. No shadow. Grimbeorn was defending for 4, and it's against 5, so he takes 1 damage. And then my other 2 heroes swing back and kill that guy, and Blade of Gondolin's going to trigger and place a progress. Alright, I'll trigger that other foe hammer because I killed an enemy. Draw 3 cards. Another Ancient Mathem. Strider for +2 willpower, and a Silver Circlet for +2 willpower. So, very happy to see those. Silver Circlet I can't quite play yet. Okay, I can flip the contract because I have 2 restricted attachments on everybody. That means everyone's going to get +1 willpower for each restricted attachment they have. So Glorfindel's questing for 6, Aragorn's questing for 4. The card I draw is Firefoot. That's a 1 of. Probably won't be putting that one into play because it's hard to be engaged with 2 different enemies in this quest. I still can't reduce my threat. Alright, Strider, because I control 5 or fewer characters, the attached hero gets +2 willpower. So Glorfindel is going to be questing for 8 now, which is pretty awesome. The Silver Circlet can only go on a spirit character, so that can't go on anybody right now. Ancient Mathem ×2. Why not? It's not limit 1. So I'm going to draw 6 cards when I clear that location. Looking at my hand, nothing else I really want to play at the moment. Aragorn has plenty of resources, so he can keep readying himself. So time to commit everyone to the quest. Aragorn readies himself, and I am sending 8 + 1 + 4. That is 13, right? Yep, 13. All right, and I reveal an orc that says reveal another card, and that other card is an orc. So I revealed 2 orcs, adding 4 threat. I make 5. I needed to place 2, and then I can finally place some progress on the main quest. So I'm going to place 3 progress and draw 6 cards. Thank you, Ancient Mathem. I wanted to go that outlying homestead, but I just added 2 enemies to the staging area. So another foe hammer. There's Celebrian Stone. Ooh, Thorngill. Okay. Another Strider, another Silver Circlet, and then a Steed of Enladris, which lets you discard a card to place 2 progress on the active location when that attached character commits to the quest. Alright, I'm going to engage this guy because if he's in staging, you have to add a side quest that makes you lose Iarian. So don't want him in staging anymore. Here, I don't know what I was thinking. I think I thought this was my second turn with the contract flipped over, and I forgot to heal Grimbeorn last turn. I don't know. But watch what happens. I immediately rectify the mistake by making another mistake. I think I'm only defending for 3, but I'm actually defending for 4 against 4, and so I give myself that damage I accidentally healed right back. And then my ready heroes have plenty of attack because he had a higher engagement cost than mine, and Blade of Gondolin will trigger, placing a progress. The enemy in staging raises my threat, then I raise my threat, my normal amount. Everyone gets some resources. Aragorn gets more. I find another Open the Armory, which would let me dig out another restricted attachment. And then I remember, oh yeah, I had Foe Hammer again. So draw 3 more cards. Why not? Look at all these cards. Forgot I had Foe Hammer because I'm holding half my deck. It's kind of an insane amount of cards I have in hand right now. Alright, so after getting a little straighter board state, trying to decide what cards I want to play. Celebrian Stone is going to go on Aragorn. He's now going to have 3 restricted attachments and the Spirit icon. And that card gives him +3 willpower. 1 from the contract, 2 from itself. Golden Belt lets you hold an additional restricted attachment. So that's going to go on Glorfindel because he's currently at 3. And then now he can either have the Silver Circlet or Steed of Imladris. And I decide Steed of Imladris will go on him. It goes on a Spirit or Noldor character. And I can discard a card to place 2 progress on the active location. And since I have so many cards in hand, that's going to not be a problem. All right, getting Aragorn's willpower figured out. He's a base of 2. Celebrian Stone makes it 4. And then 3 restricted attachments makes him a 7. Glorfindel is a base of 3. He has 4 restricted attachments, so that would be 7. Plus Strider, so he is 9. So that's awesome. It's really good. I'm trying to decide, do I want to play any more cards? I don't really need Aragorn to be ready. I decide to play the Open the Armory. I think I'll use one of Grimbeorn's resources. And I'm looking for something that can help his defense. So I would like the shield, and I did get it. I'm just looking at all my top 10 cards there. So I actually had 2 copies of the shield. So that is not that shield. That shield can't go on Grimbeorn. This one can. So this one, it doesn't do anything by itself. But if you get a shadow effect, you can exhaust that shield and give the attached character +2 defense. You can see how skinny my deck is there. So, occasionally it can trigger. When it triggers, it's nice. A lot of times, if the effect is something like exhaust a character you control or discard a random card from your hand or whatever, getting a +2 bonus might help against a big enemy. I'm already defending for 4, so for most attacks I don't need to worry. Alright, so it's time to commit characters to the quest. I still can't drop my threat while that outlying homestead's in staging area. And I'm just looking at my hand and determining what card I want to discard to the Steed of Enladris. I spend a resource off of Aragorn, so he's ready going into combat. And I'm currently sending 17 against 4. And I'm going to get rid of Firefoot, I believe. Yep, I got rid of Firefoot. So that clears the active location. And let's see. Oh, and I get it right back. So it's just a 2-threat location. So 6 against 17. I make 11 progress, bringing me up to 14 total. And I decide this is a good time to travel to the outlying homestead. So to travel there, I need to reveal the top card. And it's that same orc I just killed last turn, so I'm just going to engage it. I don't want to leave him in staging, so I have to reveal that side quest. Same thing, Grimbeorn's going to defend, return attacking enemy to the staging area. So that lets me trigger the round shield, like I was saying. It doesn't actually boost the attack, but the round shield gets to trigger. So I take no damage. The good thing is Grimbeorn can attack that enemy still, because his effect just says attack the enemy that just attacked you. Doesn't matter where that enemy is. Now, if there had been an orc war party in the staging area, I couldn't have attacked him. But I'm allowed to attack enemies in staging as long as that orc war party wasn't there. Okay, I raised my threat by 1 for that enemy and then 1 for the end of the round effect. I'm going to collect all my resources. I think I drew a second Celebrian Stone, so that's more cards to discard. Now I can drop my threat. So now we're at the point where my deck starts getting some fun choices because, like I said, when I was comparing the decks, my restricted attachments can help me during the quest phase as opposed to just giving 1 willpower. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play the Silver Circlet on Aragorn because he now has a spirit icon thanks to Celebrian Stone, and then I will get rid of a different restricted attachment since he can only have 3. So that adds 2 more willpower to him. And then, yeah, I think, why not? Let's play Thorongil. Thorongil is a 3-cost neutral attachment attached to a non-Baggins, non-Fellowship hero you control. Response: after you attach Thorongil to a hero, search your collection for a different non-Baggins, non-Fellowship version of that hero and attach it to Thorongil. While Thorongil is in play, attached hero gains the game text and resource icon of the attached hero card. If Thorongil leaves play, remove the hero card attached to it from the game. So this is a really fun card, especially because a lot of the heroes have multiple versions, and it's really fun when you can get it in play. So I am going to attach it to Aragorn, and, there's 3 versions of Aragorn that I could pick. I decided to choose the lore version, which I have this awesome alt art of. So the lore version, during the refresh phase, you can reduce your threat back to your starting threat. Not that I'm worried about threat, but you know, it's a fun card, and why not? Let's get all 4 spheres in play. Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good right now. All right, so Elrond's Council dropped my threat by 3. It's going to boost my willpower by 1. And I just need to make 30 progress, and then I win, because there's no Orc War Party in play, and I already have 14. But the Outlying Homestead has 8. 8 quest points needed. I'm just double checking my math here. Sorry, Aragorn's willpower is off screen, but he should be questing for 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. And I think I forget to discard a card. I'm going to remember in a minute. That's the 3rd time I revealed that card. 3 turns in a row. So it does get rid of the Outlying Homestead, so I make the frickin' 8 progress. And then the spillover goes on to the main quest, which I think is 5, if I did my math correctly. So I think I'm going to go up to 19. And then I'm going to remember, oh shoot, I should have discarded a card. So I actually make 2 more progress, because I would have placed 2 progress on the active location. I just forgot that Steed of Imladris was buried underneath all those other cards. So I'm at 21 out of 30. I'm going to engage that same orc again. Keeps trying to take Irion from me. After I travel to Rugged Country, I'm going to heal. And then same drill. Grimbeorn defends. Discard a card at random from your hand from each point of damage from this attack. So once again, the round shield triggers. The shadow was actually a benefit. So I'm just doing some quick math here. Aragorn can attack for 4. This guy has a higher engagement cost than mine. We got Raiment of War. We got the Dagger of Westernays. I had plenty of attack. And then the Blade of Gondolin still gets to trigger and place a progress. So I am 9 progress away from winning. Collecting all my resources on Aragorn. And then in the refresh phase, I do want to drop my threat back down to 28. I don't have to, but I think I'm going to win this turn, and I just want to trigger it, because I can. I mean, why not? All right, another Light of Valinor I don't need. None of these cards in my hand are particularly useful, but I feel like I should just play something. So even more threat reduction coming into play here. And yeah, so I'm just going to be sending everybody to the quest. Aragorn's going to be ready. I'm sending 19 now, and then I'm up against 2, and I can discard a card to place 2 progress on the active location. Yeah, feeling pretty good. And I do reveal another enemy, and yeah, that's the game. I can't remember if I raised my threat because that orc in staging, but whatever. I'm just like, yeah, I got it. It's a done deal. So there you go, 2 Grimbeorn decks using the One Ring and Strength and Courage against the same quests. I sure had a lot of fun playing both these games with both the decks, and I hope you enjoyed these videos as well. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.